The safest approach to this is to say to yourself, well, most people are deficient, so me and you, we're probably deficient too. Because I don't want you to take false reassurance from something like, well, I feel fine, so I must have enough vitamin D. Because vitamin D deficiency is often silent, meaning it doesn't actually cause symptoms. But when it does cause symptoms, they can be vague and surprising, causing things like constant fatigue, aches and pains, muscle weakness, getting every cold going, feeling low or depressed, even hair loss and slow wound healing. Look, the only way to know for sure is with a blood test. But here's the controversial bit. I don't even think you need one. Why? Well, because vitamin D deficiency is so common, you can safely assume you probably are deficient without a blood test. And this is why the UK guidelines are that everybody should be taking vitamin D supplements, particularly during the winter months. So, how do you top up? Well, there are three main ways to get vitamin D: sunlight, food, and supplements. Sunlight is the most natural and effective way that our body can make vitamin D. When ultraviolet rays hit our skin, it triggers the process of converting cholesterol type molecule into vitamin D, which goes around the body and does what it's going to do. But here's the problem. If you live in the UK or anywhere with some sort of a gloomy winter, then the sun between October and March isn't strong enough to properly trigger that process of making vitamin D. Even in the summer when the sun is stronger and the days are longer, a lot of us don't get enough time out in the sun or expose enough skin to the sun, or we wear sunscreen, meaning we don't get enough of the sun to make enough vitamin D either. Now, some foods do contain vitamin D, but honestly, it's pretty hard to get enough vitamin D from food alone. It's present in oily fish like salmon and mackerel, egg yolks, some fortified foods like cereals and dairy products contain small amounts, but you'd really have to eat ridiculous amounts to reach optimal levels. Given how common deficiency is, supplements are the easiest way to make sure that you get enough vitamin D. But how much? Well, the NHS say that we should take 400 units a day, but here's the tricky funny thing. If you sit outside in the sun for about 20 minutes to half an hour, you could produce between 10 and 20,000 units. So what's with the disparity there? More on that in a minute. So now that we assume we're all deficient and we can't get enough from food, then we've got to take supplements. Then the next question is, what's the right amount of supplement to take? And can you take too much? So the NHS figure of 400 units a day, which is 10 micrograms, is quite a conservative figure, and it's probably enough to prevent severe deficiency. So it's the absolute minimum that we need. But we're probably safer taking a little bit more than that. So if 400 is a minimum, is there a maximum? Well, yes, you can, but you'd have to take big doses for long periods of time. I'm talking 10,000 units a day plus. And over long periods of time, it can lead to calcium accumulating inside your body, which can cause aches and pains and things like kidney stones. But here's the weird thing. Sitting outside with exposed skin in the summer can quite easily produce 10,000 units. So will that lead to kidney stones long term? Well, no, because the skin is different to the gut. The skin has a way of turning off vitamin D production when it's got enough. So you can't overdose on sunlight from a vitamin D perspective anyway. So the sweet spot for most people is 1,000 to 2,000 units a day. Safe, effective, and enough to keep your levels high during winter. So I think over time, vitamin D awareness is improving and more people are becoming aware of the importance of it. But it's always been overshadowed by a different vitamin, one that's more famous than it. One that's been claimed to slow aging, improve immunity, and cure illnesses. In fact, it's so popular that the industry is worth billions today. And its story is one that's full of controversy, bold claims, and a genius who changed the world forever. It's the story of vitamin C, something I've looked into and created this video here for you to have a look at. A very interesting story. I hope you enjoyed today's video and hopefully I'll see you over there. Thank you for watching.
All right. Now, one thing I didn't notice in this, which is, apart from it just says supplements, it didn't say, like, didn't give any recommendations on foods that are high in vitamin D. I was looking for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've done my own research on that, but I think that is something that we should look into. Like, we should be looking at it from scratch kind of thing. So we could look into that. What I found interesting is that he said you can't overdose from UV rays coming from the sun, and thus your body converting that into hormone D. But you can overdose on the supplements. Now, the supplements, they, I think, consist of what you can get in the foods, but obviously you would have to consume a lot of the foods to get those tiny amounts that make up vitamin D, which they extract to make into supplements. Is that right? This is my assumption.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I mean, the thing that's confusing me a little bit is like, what are the risks then? Like, what actually would happen to your body if you took too many supplements then? Like, what would go wrong?
Good question.
Well, I can tell you from personal experience. When I catch a cold, sometimes I superdose on a particular sort of levels of vitamins. It was just some crazy thing someone recommended once, which is just taking a ton of vitamins, especially C. But the problem with that is that, yes, you get bad kidney pains when you overtake vitamins. People are like, there's the old adage that, your body only uses up as much vitamins as it can possibly consume, and then it will you piss the rest out. That isn't actually true. You can take a lot of it will still affect your kidneys. You get kidney pains for sure. I mean, I don't know about other issues, but I've had, like, when I had a cold and I wanted to super dose it out and get rid of it quickly, I ended up with, I'm like, oh, Christ, it feels like I've been in boxing and been getting hammered in my kidneys. Like, dude's just going to my body like all day long because my kidneys were really hurting. And then my friend said, yeah, because you're taking too much vitamins, idiot. Stop taking the vitamins. So I did. And it in a couple of days, it all went back to normal. So yeah, no, you can, for sure. That's a sign for me that I've taken too many. So I don't know what other things. I mean, I've never heard of anyone overdosing and dying of taking too many, like vitamin C and vitamin D. But like he said, your gut deals with things very differently to the way your skin deals with these things, and your other things. I've just been looking at foods just now, and it looks like eggs or egg yolks, white mushrooms, cod liver oil, salmon, cheese, fortified foods like fortified milk, yogurt, orange juice.
Have you got an article that you're looking at? Because you could screen share that.
It's just an image. Yeah, I can definitely screen share it. Sure, just bear with me. Let me get my stuff together.
Then we can all look at it.
I gotta shut down a lot of tabs. A lot of history has to be cleared. There's a lot of work involved before I share my screen.
In case you share the wrong one. Oh, dear.
I'm joking. It's perfectly fine. The Epstein files have to be hidden.
Fine, honest, it's fine.
My flight list.
It wasn't me.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
With that woman. Oh,
she just
giveaway, isn't it?
gave me
that
fellatio. Yes. That does not count as sexual relations. Okay, so yeah, this was just an image. I just typed in Google foods, that have high vitamin D content, and of course sunshine is the number one there. But you got butter, you got cheeses, white mushrooms, egg yolks, cod liver oil, salmon, swordfish.
Swordfish.
Good luck getting hold of that. Uh,
I've heard swordfish is a very dirty thing to eat, like it's full of junk. The flesh on it isn't that good. My dad told me that.
Yeah, I've never had it. Although there is another image that I found, this trout. So I suppose fish in general. It even says tinned tuna and sardines, but I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% certain. You should. I mean, you can eat tuna, okay, but I've heard that if you eat too much tinned tuna, it risks raising your mercury levels because the seas are not particularly good.
Yeah,
So that's the only thing.
I've heard that like wild fish, wild salmon and stuff like that, not the farmed fish, is good for you, and it's predominantly oily fish. I didn't know tuna was an oily fish.
I didn't think either, but I think you're right in the sense of salmons and trouts and stuff because these are river fish rather than open sea. It's the open sea which I've heard that because of a lot of the pollution in there and high levels of mercury, that sea fish are if you eat it too much, you could raise your mercury levels. But this was someone who said something to me. I'll
Banksy,
be
what
honest. I
happens
never.
if you have too much mercury? Sorry, what's the risk of too much mercury?
Mercury. Well, mercury in its metal form is poisonous. It's
Right,
very
okay.
poisonous to us. But I think things do have mercury in them in a very, very minute amount. But this is what I've heard that sea fish, because of the pollutions, have high mercury levels in them compared to like river fish or farmed fish because they don't swim, in
I
the
mean, we
open
go
sea.
down here to the beach and catch mackerel when you're mackerel fishing down here.
Mm.
Um,
But it's the open sea, isn't it?
Mackerel.
Or is it
yeah,
the channel? No, you
yeah,
guys are in the west.
like the English Channel, I guess. Yeah,
Well, no, you're in the west, aren't you?
yeah. No, we go
West
like
Coast.
so. I don't know if you know. I don't know. Like trying to think. Do you like Lyme Regis way? I don't know.
No,
Bridport.
I
I
don't.
don't know if he's little town.
Nah, I don't know those places. The thing is, I mean, I thought the channel was like Dover, and that's what I'm thinking.
Oh
That
yeah,
side
no,
of
yeah. I
things.
mean like cross up. Well, no, more west, way more west. Yeah.
Oh, so
So,
ravioli, are you talking about the Irish channel?
No, I mean like if you like go like where we fish for mackerel. Like, if you went across, you'd be in France in about 3 hours on a boat.
okay, so no, that is the channel.
Yeah, and we catch mackerels, and and it's very nice. We barbecue it
Mackerels, yeah,
and fillet it and stuff there, and then we eat it kind of fresh out the sea.
nice.
It's
I
not
mean,
right. Yeah.
to be honest with you, I haven't researched the whole mercury thing from sea fish, but someone that said something a long time ago because I was going on I was eating just tuna and a little bit of like sauce or something for lunch times so that I can cut down on just trying to lose weight essentially,
Yeah,
weight loss
yeah.
thing. Go to the gym, come back, have a tin of tuna, and then that's it. Just keep that. Get yourself a bit of energy to keep you going, but not too much so that I can lose weight. But someone said to me, yeah, just be a bit wary. Don't eat too much tuna because
Right.
of that. But this was years ago. I'll be honest, I have so many other problems physically.
Ah, but
that
is that limited? Is that limited to tin tuna and not fresh tuna?
I mean, as I said, I haven't researched it, so I can't give any definitive. But it was because I mean, the association was the sea waters are essentially quite polluted right now
Yeah.
around the world because you just dump all sorts of crap in there. So most sea fish have higher levels of mercury than other types, the river fishes and canals and whatever ponds or whatever we have. So that's why. That's the only thing. It's just like just keep an eye on that. I guess I should research it more before reading, but this is not advice. This is not health advice. This is just some shit I heard from someone who told me while I was eating a tin of tuna.
Don't worry, Fancy. I've put it in the description, and it's always going to be there in these lives. Have I not put it in the description? No, I've put it in the post anyway that none of us are experts. We're merely talking about stuff that we see and hear and read and all the rest. Now, someone in the live chat, knee legs, um, that's Geordie for no legs, says sea fish probably have a higher plastic content due to all the microplastics in pollution. So that means that it's not just about mercury.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. It's because they actually, it's true. Yeah, poor fishes are essentially, they've got microplastics that they consume as well. I mean, you guys saw. I don't know. Actually, you may not have. There was a thing quite a few years back now. Two giant sperm whales were found dead. You know, they were just washed up onto the beach, and they were, you know, dead. And when they cut them open, they had these massive barrels of like plastic barrels inside them. It's because they'd eaten, they swallowed these barrels thinking it was food, and obviously it's just giant plastic barrels that don't dissolve and didn't go anywhere. They've just been sitting in their stomach, and these fish essentially these whales, sorry, they starved to death because their stomach was always full, so they just didn't have that feeling of eating. So they just stopped eating and they starved to death because of these bloody giant plastic barrels in their gut. It was like,
Oh,
it's insane,
yeah,
insane.
they dump so much crap in the seas, don't they?
Oh,
So much
it's
rubbish.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much crap we've just, and not to mention back in the day they used to dump toxic waste in there as well. They, you know, all these companies with their chemical companies, you know, shampoo and makeup and all these other chemical companies. They used to just dump their toxic waste just straight into the sea. Just no shits given. Just, yeah, it's all right. Just pour it in here, lads.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's quite
when you
alarming.
think back to the kind of crap we did, it's amazing. We used to put lead in paint that would paint the interior of your house where your children would lick the goddamn
Yep,
walls.
yep.
We
About
used
all
to
the
put
asbestos tanks, see?
asbestos.
Asbestos, yeah, yeah.
We used to put that crap in your
I
loft.
mean, how many people has that killed? Like, teachers and pupils at
Oh
school. I
my
mean,
god. Oh
office
my
space.
god.
Like,
The amount of people that have just and we're like, why is cancer getting so prevalent in the West? Maybe it's all the crap you're putting inside your house that are toxic.
That's another discussion as well. Toxic load for sure. Knee Legs has added that tin tuna contains 0.12 to 0.35 ppm of mercury per tin, according to Google.
There
Gosh.
you go. There you go. So there is something to it, to the mercury thing. I just didn't want to be like definitive about it. But yeah, there's definitely, so you just got to be a bit more wary. Although fish is still, I think, one of the best options. I mean, look at the Japanese; they tend to live like 1,000 years. Most of these guys,
yeah, yeah.
and they look 25. So maybe there's something about that. Uh,
Well, going back to food, I mean, eggs, right? We've covered fish, but you would have to get some pretty special fish. You would have to spend a fortune to be able to get some as tiny amounts, really, compared to what you would get from supplements. In that video, did he say what percentage can be taken in, like ingested?
I don't know about what percentage. He said between 1,000 to 2,000 IU is what you actually need to keep your levels. Essentially, if you're in that range, you don't have vitamin D deficiency. I'm not sure. I mean, with pills, it's actually quite easy. It tells you anyway on the tin.
Well, can we trust what's on the tin of those pills, though, when we look at
Yeah.
that side of the world that we're not going to say the BP word of? Um,
Yeah.
so I wonder if you can absorb UV rays through your skin and your body converts that, I assume, into Hormone D, how like that goes into it, and it's not a liquid, it's not a powder, it's not a tablet, it's a frequency, isn't it? UV rays.
Mm.
So how can you consume a frequency and get from a powder or a liquid or something like that the same thing? Are you actually consuming the same thing? It's weird to me. It just
Yeah, when
doesn't
you think
add
about
up.
it, it's strange.
Yeah, I mean these foods, by the way, that I put up, they did actually have the IU levels. Like the eggs are 43.5 IU, I would presume is per egg. Having 2 to 3 large eggs will help you have 50% of recommended daily intake of vitamin D. So like there's cod liver oil has 450 IUs. So I think getting some cod liver oil tablets. I mean, a friend of mine, he swears by cod liver oil anyway because of the omega 3 and all the rest, and he was raised on that. And I'm talking about not this pill, this nice sort of pleasant little plastic pill thing that he drink that you can take. His mother spoon fed them like the old school cod liver oil with the stinkiness and the horrific, just everything
Yeah.
horrific about it. But yeah, he says I can spoon eat cod liver oil without even thinking about it. My mum just forced us all to do it, and that's got 200, 500, 450 IUs. So really, 1 or 2 tablets a day literally gets your daily allowance, maybe even one, and some eggs. It's not it's not bad, you know. You gotta look into this cod liver oil thing. Um,
There
I mean the
is there
rest.
is some controversy about cod liver oil, though. Like I've heard in the carnivore groups that there's something that's a negative about consuming it. So I'm not sold on whether you should actually take that or not as well. In that form. Of course, like when you consume the fish, you've got all and
Mm,
the oil, you've got the rest of it, you've got the protein and everything like that. Isn't it supposed to be consumed in that balanced form as opposed to just a load of the oil?
just the oil, yeah. I mean, I suppose, obviously, from my perspective, eating the food is always a better option than taking the pill, because obviously these pills are extracts, and God knows what process they used. Who knows if they even want to pad out the oil by injecting just, I don't know, friggin' sunflower oil into it. I mean, who's really, how many of you have actually taken one of these cod liver oil capsules and opened it up and smelled it to see if it's real cod liver oil?
Yeah.
Nobody does.
No.
It could be sunflower oil for all we know, vegetable oil. But
Washing up
so
liquid.
well, I think
It
that
could
would
be
that
anything.
would be a bit of a tell. But generally, yeah, I mean, it's how pure is it? Because it's a friend of mine years ago gave me a recipe for a particular tea that you can make in order to raise your cognitive ability, to raise your IQ. In fact, to some extent, maybe even like a point or two, you could even raise your IQ. But certainly get rid of things like a brain cloud that you might get during the day, especially lethargic sort of feelings after lunch. This tea, I tested it out. It works. It works. Don't get me wrong. It's 27 different teas, and it costs me like a couple of £100 to
God.
accumulate the teas. It's not cheap to keep up, but I tested it for about a month, and it doesn't. I mean, obviously, it doesn't. It's not just the tea. It comes with a certain other regimental things you have to do at night, where you get a good 6, 7 hours, 7 hours of proper sleep. Try to get some good REM sleep, as well as the tea. And I found myself being sharp as a button during the day. During the day, especially after lunch, I used to just like become lethargic, especially if you have a heavy lunch, and just my productivity at work would go down to almost zero. Whilst with this thing, god damn, it was like cocaine. I was on top of the world. I was like, what the hell am I drinking? But this is good stuff. No brain cloud, sharp as a bell, just, awake and just, ready to go. So it worked. I'll be honest, I haven't done it in years because, as I say, I have to go buy all the bits and bobs. But it food, actual teas, because these were tea bags. They weren't, I know, and not just teas, but there was sort of loose leaf teas as well, and also included matcha, but matcha, proper organic matcha, not some are these crappy tea bags that they sell you at Tesco's. So
Yeah.
I had to actually, because the stuff that he gave me, because they were so expensive, because they were proper organic sourced stuff, these were not we weren't messing around. The different teas that he gave me, matcha was one of them. Cat's claw. What else was there? There was a few other things. Also, there was one supplement which was coenzyme Q10, which is also extremely good for your cognitive ability. Anyway, my friend he's just a bit of a psychopath about his IQ. He wants to constantly raise his IQ, but it does work. So if you do consume food in that way, I think it generally is better than just chugging pills. I try to avoid the pill form of anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where that guy said that you would have to consume a lot of the food, and you know, it's just impossible because you wouldn't be able to eat that many fish in a day, and so on and so forth. Neil Eggs has said if you place mushrooms on a well lit windowsill for a day, they act like a sponge and absorb the vitamin D. Now, with about that, you need to turn the mushrooms upside down so it's under the hood, you know, the top bit, like the
Yeah.
actual toadstool. It's those under bits, they absorb the UV rays, but it makes a very short lived source of vitamin D2, not vitamin D3. It's a different type of vitamin D, and it doesn't last in your system very long. It doesn't have the impact of your body being able to produce hormone D, as far as I know. But that's, I think, we're probably going to come across information on that sort of thing, like the differences between what they call vitamin D3 and vitamin D2 as we do go further into this topic, I think.
I mean, I was thinking whilst the documentary was on, would a UV lamp, you know, these sun lamps, suntan lamps, tanning lamps,
Yeah.
would they create the same effect as the sun, or does it have to be the sun? Could you actually get one of these lamps and just sort of, you know, sit under it for half an hour a day or something?
Well, definitely not half an hour a day on UV rays. They do have a limit on them. Your maximum is 20 minutes, and you're not
Okay.
allowed to use it for at least 24 hours later. Otherwise, you risk overexposure to radiation. But it does help your body to be able to produce hormone D because you're lying there naked on, you know, you've got all these light bulbs down your back and light bulbs down your front, and your body is absorbing those UV rays, and then your body converts that into hormone D, as far
Okay.
as I know. But there's I think there's other things that your body needs to be able to produce the hormone D. Like if there's other things that you're lacking while you're taking those UV rays in, your body still might not produce enough hormone D, I think. And this is where I get confused. Like if your body produces hormone D, how could it ingest it?
Well, your skin. I mean, let's say your body is. I guess you know it must somehow must seep into your system. I mean, it must just. I don't know. I don't know. This. I guess you have to go and find out about how your skin absorbs these things, or and because if it's a hormone, then it's not like it needs to go through your arteries and vein, you know, through your blood and so it's a hormone, isn't it? Doesn't that just simply react into into your body, and then feed all the various organs that it needs to feed, your livers and muscles and stuff. By the way, that thing he said about muscle twitching, I get that. I definitely get that from time to time, not regularly, but yeah, definitely. And I think that's vitamin D deficiency.
I
So
wonder
yeah.
about that because you can get that if you're not consuming enough electrolytes. Now, electrolytes are certain minerals like, say, calcium, potassium, and magnesium, which are, you know, and other trace minerals which you're supposed to consume for your body to be able to distribute the energy. in around all of the muscles, right? So if that energy isn't getting around to all your muscles, you can start having spasms and twitches and stuff like that. So it's hard to tell whether it's, how would you know if what you're experiencing is down to not enough electrolytes or not enough hormone or vitamin D? I'm still not, it's still murky whether it's vitamin or hormone D to me. But do you know what I mean? Like, how would you know?
Ravioli just wrote something really interesting. You said that your body actually requires you need to be exposed to UVB rather than UVA, which is what those lights provide to create
Yeah, it's just a
vitamin D.
Google search on it. Yeah, I just looked at that, put it in there.
So that means they don't actually sitting in front of a UV lamp or sunbed or whatever doesn't actually do anything for you vitamin D wise. You're not going to really get it.
Yeah, that's what it said. There was one other type of light though. And there's another. Hang on, it said. It says some solariums offer special lamps with a proportion of UVB radiation that can actually stimulate the formation of vitamin D. However, this depends to a large extent on the solarium equipment and the duration of the exposure. But be aware, both UVA and UVB rays cause cell damage, which can lead to skin melanoma and accelerated skin aging.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing about this whole sunshine thing. Is the fact is that although yes, you need sunshine to sort of initiate vitamin D production, you're also gonna get skin cancer.
Yeah.
Well, that in itself is murky because there's also different theories that it's not actually the sun, it's some of the products that you use to try and block out the sun. But I think that we would have to look into at a later date, because I want to go back to whether it's a hormone or it's a vitamin and stuff like that, because that was a short video. I've found an article which might help us. I'm not sure how much in this might be useful. I'm going to screen share it and we'll go through it and see if this.
One other thing I heard about the whole sunshine and taking in sunshine, by the way, is it's not enough if you're just out with your head exposed and your arms exposed. You do need a full body exposure to the sun. It's people who think they've got that working man's tan with the with the arms tan and the torso is all white. That's not good enough. You have to actually be properly exposed, your back, your front, all that.
I wonder what the evidence on that is, because there's a lot of different takes, isn't there? We're going to have to explore that as well, I think. And what would it be different with more of nature's sunblock in their skin, like melanin in their skin, or not as well? I'm not too sure that we can just put it as a sweeping statement on all of mankind. Like, there's some people who can deal with the sun a lot better than, say, me, who I'm pretty much white. I'm whiter than
transparent.
See me, I'm blue, like Billy Connolly white. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I could probably just easily burn to a crisp in 5 minutes compared to someone who has more melanin in their skin, and therefore they can deal with it a lot better than me, right? So I wonder if that would have a difference.
Smooth moderator.